Donald Trump is prone to reminding us how intelligent he is. Here are two separate clips where he has said that on different occasions.
And then they say, "Is Donald Trump an intellectual?" Trust me, I'm like a smart person. And I don't have to be told, I'm like a smart person. I don't have to be told the same thing and the same words every single day. I don't need that.
It turns out he actually does, and I'm not positive he knows what the word smart means. So in an Associated Press interview, when talking about his interactions with German leader Angela Merkel, he says, yeah, it's funny. One of the best chemistries I had was with German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Really? In fact, the Associated Press's next question literally is, really? Okay, as you're gonna see, that was not the perception of the Germans. He went on to say later to the Associated Press about the same incident, we had unbelievable chemistry, and people have given me credit for having great chemistry with all of the leaders. Really, who's giving you that credit? All right, so what actually happened with Angela Merkel in that meeting? A senior German official tells the Times of London, 10 times Trump asked Merkel if he could negotiate a trade deal with Germany. Every time she replies, you can't do a trade deal with Germany, only the EU. So Germany is in the European Union, and Trump keeps asking, hey, can I just do a trade deal with you, with Germany? She's like, no, you do it through the European Union because we're part of the European Union. Okay, but can I do one with you? 10 times, no, wrong, 11 times, listen. On the 11th refusal, Trump finally got the message, we'll do a deal with Europe then. Merkel reportedly told her cabinet members that Trump had a very basic misunderstandings on the fundamentals of the EU and trade. On the other hand,
and then they say, is Donald Trump an intellectual? Trust me, I'm like a smart person. And I don't have to be told, I'm like a smart person. I don't have to be told the same thing and the same words every single day. I don't need that.
Except apparently the German Chancellor had to tell you 11 times how the European Union works. Look, if you're not embarrassed that you voted for Donald Trump, I don't think I can help you. I mean, really, you're proud? You're proud like, my president, the guy I voted for, made the most powerful man on earth, has no idea what the European Union is or how it works. What, can I do a trade deal with you? How about with you? How about with Germany? How about with you? How about with Deutschland? No, you can't do any of that. I don't know. That's 11 times. Moron of morons. I'm gonna go back to this poll because it's a good one, it's a doozy. Over 16,000 people have already voted on this. Who is dumber, George Bush or Donald Trump? Now look, don't forget Bush. Here's a Bush classic.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
I mean, how could anyone be dumber than George Bush? But I think Trump's on his way, man. I mean, I think that Bush would have gotten the message after asking 7 times, as opposed to 11 times. TYTnetwork.com/dumb to vote in that poll. Jesus Christ, man. Just learn this much about government or world affairs before you become president of the United States of America. And I think Bush would have known that, hey, it's kind of embarrassing that I don't know how the European Union works. He would have been one of those guys who's not very bright, but knows he's not bright, so covers up with, yeah, of course, I know who I do the trade deal with. I mean, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, can't get fooled again, right? Whereas Trump's like, what, how do I do this deal? Okay, you're from Germany. How do I make a trade deal? He doesn't even know how stupid that sounds. TYTnetwork.com/dumb, but this is beginning to be a landslide. He's making Bush look like a smart person. Young Turks membership creates independent media.
Believe me.
No ads.
Believe me.
All the shows.
Believe me.
On demand.
Believe me.
Support independent media.
Believe me.
It's awesome, tremendous, you'll love it.
Believe me.
And by the end, you'll be thinking,
I'm like a smart person.
tytnetwork.com/join.